Welcome back. So I have an image that I'm going to be preparing to print to get ready to put on a shirt. It is for a local training academy. Seems like I do a lot of stuff for gun people. Anyway, they want this on a black sweatshirt slash t-shirt with their web address at the bottom of it. They've had something like this before and they're just looking for a few more shirts really quick, so I'm going to try to help them out. So I'm going to start off. I'm usually, it's only going to be on the left pocket side of the shirt, so it's going to be 3 by 3 inches around. So I'm just going to create a 4 inch by 4 inch artboard and import that picture into the artboard and kind of size it to that. So I'm going to use the place option. I'll place it in there. This is a PNG with a transparent background, I believe. So I'm just going to place it in here, and then I'll go to transform, and it's at 6.8 inches. I'm just going to hit 3 here and make it 3 inch. So here, oops, forgot to select my pointer. So now it's 3 inches in diameter. So now what they want is the web address at the bottom of it. So it's going to be, I think it's web, let me make sure I spell it right. Academy, oops. weaponsacademy.com. Sorry, I'm trying to type with this camera stand in my way, so here we go. weaponsacademy.com. And they just want a good readable font. I'm going to pick Calibri because that always seems to be a great font. Bold it up, maybe space it out a little bit. 50 is good, yeah, that's good. And then we'll make this, I'm gonna create outlines on this, and I'm gonna make it also 3 inches wide, just so it lines up with the Academy logo. So that, and then I'll select both of them, gonna center them on the page there. So there's my artwork. So it's gonna be, they're gonna be on a black shirt. So what I like to do is create another layer, put it on the bottom down here, and then just make a black square behind it. So I'm gonna take the shape tool, make a black square. Looks like the Academy lettering disappeared, so I'm gonna lock that layer, unlock this other layer, click on the font down here that I created, change it to white, and there it is. So basically that is going to be the design that's gonna go on the sweatshirt. And the hoodies I have are just Gildan 100% cotton hoodies. Get them from my local wholesaler in the Dallas area, where I'm located in Texas. So now we have to create the cut lines. So this is going to be just like I said, like a full color on the sweatshirt. And I don't want to put a white border around it. I'm just gonna have the color border. So I'm gonna create a bleed. So here's how I'm gonna do that. First, I'm going to make sure I'm on my right layer. I'm just going to create a circle around there, and Illustrator has like snap to options, and it'll snap to like the corner. I forget what that's called, but if I click and drag a circle over it, it'll match it perfectly. So if I change my fill to stroke, you can kind of see it's a little bit off on the right hand side. So I'm going to bring it in, and then it kind of snaps to. I think Illustrator recognizes the edges of the image, and it'll snap to. I already have my Roland VersaWorks swatch panel open, and I'm gonna select the stroke and hit the cut line, and there's my cut line. So for my font, for Weapons Academy, I'm going to also hit the stroke on that, and there's my cut line there. If I get rid of the fill, those are the letters it's gonna cut. So I'm gonna make the stroke a little bit thinner so that I can see that a little better, to 1/2 point. weaponsacademy.com. So there we go. So how do I create a bleed? Well, I could put a blue dot or a blue circle, come over here and select like the center color of this blue. Again, go over here, or I could copy this since it's already there. I'm gonna copy the cut contour line, do a Control-Shift-V to paste it exactly in place. It's there, you can't see it, but if I hit Shift and move, you see that there's two there. So I'm going to click on my color selection tool and hit blue. So now I've got a blue circle. So what now I'm gonna do with that is send it to the back. So you can either right click and do send to back. I think arrange, sorry. Yeah, send to back. So now it's at the back. With it still selected, I'm gonna switch the fill over to the stroke over here on the color, little color palette selection. And then on the stroke, I'm gonna start increasing points. So you can see it's starting to get blue, 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 blue. So that's a huge bleed. So when it prints, it's gonna print this blue circle on the edge, but it should cut inside that circle. I can't select it, so let me show you what that looks like. So I'm click on the image. I'm gonna move it over so you can kind of see what's under it. So there's the stroke I created with the blue color, and then there's the cut line. So here's the stroke. It's right here. Now the stroke is not going to match this light blue up here. It's just going to be a basic blue, and when you print it out, my settings are pretty close, so you're not going to notice. It might just be a tiny dark blue line, but against a black background, it's not going to be noticeable. So I'm not worried about it. Another way I could have done it is I could have copied this image and pasted it behind itself, and then increased the size of it just a tad bit to where it stretches the edges of it, and since the colors are here, the color would match. I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe I'll do another one where I can do that. I'm not trying to make this video so long. But anyway, so there it is. So now all I'll have to do is save it as a PDF. I'll remove the background. I'm going to remove this background. I'm going to minimize the size of my artboard so I can save space on my material. And the material I'm using is the Sizer Color Print Easy. Make sure that's centered. Yep. Just going to click it over a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to change my artboard a little bit more up top. And then I'm going to save this. So again, that's a huge bleed. It doesn't have to be that big, but I just did that just so you guys could see how it looks. So I'll save this as a PDF. Weapons Academy, we're going to call it Weapons Academy PDF. And then it should be good to go onto the printer. So I like to always save to press quality. I'll print a small one just to kind of see how the color looks. It should be fine because this is just a generic image. They're not really hell-bent on the color. There we go. It's ready to go. So now I'm pulling it into VersaWorks. I'm going to add the job queue QA. I gotta go find it where I saved it at. There it is, Weapons Academy. I can see my cut lines. Once I pull it in, let it load. I'm gonna click on it, come over here. I do have my special items, which is my normal cut. You can't see it here in this image, excuse me, but in the right hand image you can kind of see where it's going to cut. I'm going to get media width. It's at 8.46. They want, I think we're going to do 8. So I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want to print 10. I'm going to center on the media. When I go to my cut controls, I'm just going to leave them how they are because it's just a cut contour. It's not a perf cut. And with this material, the default settings have always been fine. So that's where it's going to be. All right, I printed one out, but didn't like the way it looked, and I actually made the text a little bit wider across the bottom. So I only printed one row out, so I just added some text to the top of this, and then just printed these out for the rest of the ones I needed. I'll peel this weaponsacademy.com off one of these other ones and just stick it on the existing ones that I printed to make up the 6 that I need. But I'll show you how it turns out. Something else I noticed with this Caesar Easy Weed, I think it's more absorbent than regular like decal vinyl, because the ink seems to dry quicker on this material, so you can touch it a lot sooner. Whereas the if I were to touch the decals, they'd be real tacky and sticky. But these, like I said, the material absorbs it a little better. So I taped down the corner here just so you can watch me peel it. It's kind of hard to hold a camera and peel at the same time, but I just wanted to show you the right where the cut line was. So it came out pretty good. So when you peel this back, you'll see there's the blue outline, that the bleed that I put on there, and it was enough to create a good, perfect little circle there. Now I'm not going to use that font. It was a little too small, I think, so I increased the size. So I'm not even gonna. I'll probably trim that off, and I'll put these badges on there separately, and then I'll put the text under it separately. It's an extra step, but it'll match the rest of them that I made, where the font goes a little bit wider and just lined up with the edge. So there, everything is weeded. The hardest part, or the most annoying part, is probably weeding these letters. I use a piece of masking tape, and then I take the weeding tool, and I weed out and stick it on that tape each time when I do it. But anyway, so I'll take some. I also use the Caesar High-Tack masking. For this, I'll lay it out, stick it on there, and get it ready to go. When I lay it out on the transfer paper, I just basically peel a piece down, pull the paper back, kind of crease it, and I just lay it smoothly on top.